Hey YouTube, it's your girl Dr. J doing another quick video on how you can have diversity in repetition, or diverse repetition is what I'm calling it. And today's video is going to focus on addition. The reason why I really like to make sure my kids truly understand addition and can do addition quickly is because if it takes kids a long time to do calculations, it's going to be much harder for them to handle higher level math, because with math, you should really be thinking about the problem you're trying to solve as opposed to being bogged down with the actual calculations. And so I really want to make sure that my kids understand addition and get it to the point where addition becomes mental math. However, I don't want to do that repetition by having them sit around and do workbooks all day. And so these are some of the things that I do to allow my kids to have some diverse repetition with mathematics. Okay, so I do start with a workbook. You know, you guys know I love my Sylvan. The first grade Sylvan math is going to have a lot of addition in it. So first grade, it has a lot of other things, but it does hit addition real well. So if I'm going to do some workbook problems, I'm going to use this. The other area where I'm going to use workbook problems, and I would actually highly recommend this, is Singapore Math's Challenging Word Problems. Most of the word problems in the first grade book is going to focus on addition and subtraction. And I just really love it because a lot of times with first and second grade math, you do not have an opportunity to do a lot of word problems depending on the math curriculum that you're using. So with this book, it puts math in its place, which is we use math to solve problems. That's the purpose of math. And so it allows kids to get a lot of concrete ideas and repetition. Another thing that I like, when my kids are doing math, we use an abacus. A lot of times I love abacus. This is a Montessori abacus. And what makes it a Montessori abacus is that it'll have the place value here, so ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place, all the way down. I actually have another abacus that we use more often, and that's just because it goes to higher numbers. It's more you see it like in toy sections, but it works just the same. Really like that. I think Right Start Math uses a different type of abacus, but just using the abacus, it allows kids to really see the mathematics taking place, and so it's not just filling out these random worksheets, but you're really seeing the math in action. Another thing that I use, I think I showed this before, my Montessori boxes. This is my addition box. And you have the problems. These are plastic tiles, so they will last forever. And then the solution tiles. And for my children that are working like at the first grade level, early second grade level, what I'll do is I'll put 5 to 10 tiles on the table and have them solve those. For my third grader, what I may do is put the tiles on the table with a timer and then see how many problems he can do in 1 minute. How many problems can he do in 2 minutes? How fast can he solve these 10 problems? Just to increase that fluency and speed so that as he goes into higher and higher level math, he's not bogged down with the calculations. Another thing I love these. These are Wrapups. I don't know if you've seen those. This is the addition wrap up. I have these for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and basically, it's 1 plus 2 plus 3, and you just go through, and they, for plus 1 is, 3 plus 1 is 4, 6 plus 1 is 7, and I love it because on the back it is self-checking, so there's a grid that they can feel, and their string should go across the grid. So if they see any grid lines, they know that an answer is wrong, so they have to unwrap it and do it again. These are great if you're going to be in the car or going somewhere. You can just throw this in your purse or in a bag, and your kids can do it while you're out. Really great. I also love books. Here's some books that we use. The Mission of Addition by Brian Cleary. Really fun rhyming book. I have their books for grammar as well, but this is a really good book that I like. This is a weekly reader book. Addition is adding and subtracting at the lake. This one, Animals on Board. This is a math start book focusing on addition. Another book that I just love, absolutely love, Masterpieces. It is by Greg Tang with the Art of Problem Solving, and it is really clearly about helping your child understand math. And so the problems are simple, but it is about getting them in a math state of mind. And it's called Masterpieces because basically what happens is there is a beautiful work of art, and it'll, like, this one is by Jackson Pollock, and it gives them some information about it. And then there's a rhyme about the picture. This one is about splashes and splatters of paint, and then it talks about finding 7. And they have to look through the splashes and come up with the answer. It says, 9s are made with all these splatters. Finding 7 is what matters. And so they have to figure out, 9 ways to make 7. How many ways can they make 7 in this painting with this picture? And and it goes all the way through. Like, this one is time. And then this one is, find 7 ways to make 8. And you guys know this picture. And so it's a way of combining art with math, and it's really cerebral. Just a really, really good book. Love it. Love all of Greg Tang's books, but this one is great for addition, repetition. My dice, y'all know I love my dice. I have tons and tons and tons of these die. I think I have probably 3 to 4 in each color, and at least 4 colors, I think. Even if you only have 2 dice, that's enough. Just roll them and have the kids add them up. That's good. As your child gets into higher and higher math, you add more and more dice. I've seen a bucket of like 100 dice at Target for $8, $9. So not these particular dice, but just the smaller dice. I use these because we have vision issues, but these are great. Another way I use my dice is with a little number line that I have. This is a number line that we use. We actually will tape it down on the floor and get our kinesthetic work in. They have to start at 1 and roll the dice to work their way off through addition, off the edge of the mat, by just rolling the dice. And so it's just fun addition practice, but they're up, they're moving, they're hopping, they're jumping, they're having fun with it. So I use that. Life of Fred elementary series. This is the Apples book, but apples and butterflies, even cats, is going to give you a lot of addition practice. All the stories in this book, most of the answers add up to 7, so it's good, but it really shows them like really important math concepts, like 4 plus 3 equals 3 plus 4. When your child gets that, addition gets so much faster, because if you give your child 5 plus 2, and then they go 5, 6, 7, and then you give them 2 plus 5. If they can't immediately go 7, that means they need more repetition in that, because that connection should be there quickly in order for them to go up into higher level math. So this is a great book to reinforce those concepts. This is a fun game. This is Pop for addition and subtraction. And basically the level 1 way to use this game is it has a little spinner, and when they do the spinner, it tells them how many of the little gumballs they have to pick, and then there's a simple addition or subtraction problem on it, and they have to answer it, and if they get the answer correct, they can keep the gumball. If you're doing it competitively, then the child with the most gumballs at the end of the game wins. One way to do it cooperatively is to see how long it takes all the kids to empty out the entire bag of gumballs. So that's a great way to play a game to get some good repetition in. This book, Math Express Strategies, this is actually from Singapore. I got this from Singapore Math Express. This is level 1, and it is all about teaching the concept of mental math, and it starts with addition, and it teaches a very, very key concept, and that is there's like a fancy name for it, but I can't remember it right now, I'll be honest. But basically, teaching your child the pairs that make 10. 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6, 5 and 5. When your child understands that what has to be added to 9 to make 10, what has to be added to 8 to make 10, what has to be added to 3 to make 10, when they can do that really, really fast, that is the key to mental math. And so this book really teaches that. In the first strategy, it asks, can you get these 2 questions in 10 seconds? And then it shows you how what you're doing is you're just breaking things down. The big way to do math fast is to break the answer down to the pairs that make 10, and then whatever is left over from that, you put, that's what you carry over. And so it really teaches that concept really well. But if you don't have to get it, the book is great. It's a great book. But if you don't get the book, one thing that you should be practicing with your child is those pairs that make 10. I mean, they should be able to say it quickly. 1 plus 9, 8 plus 2, 7 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 5 plus 5. It should be really, really quick that they understand what makes 10. When they can do that quickly, it's going to be great. Another thing I like, number lines. We actually use number ladders because, again, we have dyslexia, and with dyslexics, they understand ladders much better than horizontal lines. We have a horizontal number board too. It gets used. It's all torn because it gets used. We use these to check answers, so they'll come up with the answer when they're doing their math, and then they'll check it by using the number line. But with the ladders, it's much easier for a child to understand that you go up the ladder to add and down the ladder to subtract. I ended up getting these off of Sparklebox, www.sparklebox.co.uk. Again, UK resources. I looked on Amazon. I looked all over for a vertical number line. When I read that dyslexics do better with vertical number lines, I could not find one in the U.S. I am not kidding. I could not find one. And so I ended up having to get this. This was actually free, and I just printed it on cardstock, but it was just interesting that I couldn't find one in the U.S. I think those are the big things that I wanted to hit in this video. That's some of the ways that we do diverse repetition. You don't have to buy a lot of high-cost things. The big thing to remember is to hit that concept in as many different ways as possible. Don't just have them sit down and fill out workbooks. Let them feel it, let them see it, let them think about it, let them play with it, because a lot of times we think, okay, my child knows how to add, let me move them on. Addition needs to be mental math. They should be able to do in their head, getting to 10 with numbers. When they hit that, once they, get to the end of first grade, they should be able to do any problem mentally that adds to 10. Second grade, any problem mentally that adds up to 20. Third grade, adding up to 30. Then once you get to 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, they should be able to add in the hundreds in their head. 384 plus 572, they should not have to pull out a piece of paper to figure out that answer when they get into 4th and 5th grade. If they can do problems like that in their head, they're going to sail through pre-algebra, algebra, those sort of things. If they have trouble with calculations, it is going to slow them down. So it is much better to slow your child down in those early years and make sure they really get those concepts through good repetition. So this is Dr. J, and I'm out. Bye-bye.